wild, wild west. A state that's untouchable like Elliot. Track hits your eardrum like a under your chest. Like a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. We in that sunshine state where the bomb ass him be. The state where you never find a dance floor empty and pimp speed. On a mission for them greens. Lean, mean, money making machines serving fiends. I've been in the game for 10 years making rap tunes. Ever since Honeys was wearing Sassoon, now it's 95 and they clock me and watch me diamond shining, looking like a Rob Liberace. It's all good from Diego to the Bay. Your city is the bomb if your city making pay. Throw up a finger if you feel the same way. Straight putting it down for California, yeah. West Coast. Inglewood, always up to no good. Even Hollywood trying to get a piece, baby. Sacramento, where you at? Yeah. Throw it up, y'all. Throw it up. I can't see y'all.
I should answer, where do you come from?
From the east, and I am hoping that you will give my message on the square for the sake
of the widow's son.
Well done, gentlemen. Congratulations. As chairman of the Order of Skulls and on behalf of the council and the 322 alumni throughout the world, gentlemen, you are welcome. Welcome home.
Well, I tell you, let me give you a little inside information about God. God likes to watch. He's a prankster. Think about it. He gives man instincts. He gives you this extraordinary gift, and then what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private, cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time.
I think church has very little to do with spirituality. I think it's something you have to find in yourself.
You're stupid. Yeah.
And we are live, and the doors of the Sanctum have been unlocked and opened again for the week. Welcome, everyone, back to the Sanctum Sanctorum. I'm your illustrious host, Widow's Son. None of my awesome co-hosts are with us this evening, but we do have some amazing folks, friends, and bros backstage who are going to be joining us for another music discussion, which is something that we do love to talk about around here. And I'm really, really looking forward to this. Of course, as everyone can see, the lovely Miss Parker is with us this evening, and so good to have her. She is always welcome here, and it's always a pleasure to speak to her. But we are going to have some fun and see where the discussion takes us. So if you haven't already, go ahead and like the stream. That really helps us out. Hit that subscribe button, get the notification bell on, come and join all the weird things that happened around here because, as we all know, it does get weird around here. It does. Quite a bit. So let's see who is lurking about. There's Miss Parker right there. Wanderer, I see you, my brother. Good to see you. Hope all is well with you. So let's see here. Who is going to be first? Well, I mean, without a doubt.
Hi, Miss Parker.
Hi, boy.
Hey.
Hello, Miss Parker. How are you, dear lady?
Oh, I can't complain about the stuff in the thins. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about the thins. I'm here for it.
It's like my dad used to say, if I asked him how he was doing, he'd be like, well, I could complain, but it wouldn't do any damn good.
Exactly. So. Nobody's listening. It's fine.
Well.
I've learned not to queef into the abyss as often. Nobody's listening to the queefs.
I was about to say, that might be a tad dangerous to do.
I don't know. Listen,
the abyss might queef back.
The abyss might. I was just thinking that when you queef into the abyss just might queef back. And I don't know if you're ready for those solar winds, bruh. That's a whole nother situation.
Well, I'm sure NASA has been studying them for decades. So.
Hold on, wait. Does that mean the sun queefs at us?
Holy
shit.
What do you think solar flares are?
Solar flares are sun queefs. I can't wait to talk to Landon. He's going to be so embarrassed by me. I can't wait to tell him all the things I've learned.
it's amazing. See, we try to be educational here as much as fucking possible.
Exactly. I learned some shit today. Solar winds are solar queefs, and the sun has just been queefing up a storm. That's amazing.
The sun is just one massive queef.
Oh, it's amazing. There's a lot of energy.
No, the sun is a universal queef.
Sweet. So that means like all the stars are queefs. And it's just the universe is queefing in and out of existence at all times, folks. Yes, you're a solar queef come to life. Entropy tells us that you are just the product of a solar queef. That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Like, it makes the world. I like the way that sounds. How can you be racist once you realize that you're a queef? You know.
I don't think it's possible. I think it's supposed to cleanse you, and if you will, in a
if
way.
you've never had a chance to queef, it is quite liberating. I will tell you, it is quite liberating. There's a lot of freedom involved, especially if you do it in the water. It's fun.
Well, I mean, here's someone who might know what you're talking about. What's up, right?
No, I do not.
I was gonna say, when's the last time you got a nice queef out? You got a nice one. Just let it ripple.
Ooh, it's in there. It's a little tough to push out this time around.
It's that time of the month, apparently.
Yep.
How you been, brother?
Pretty good. Sorry, I was taking a sip of Jackson here. And no.
Oh yes.
I was gonna say gin and juice, maybe.
Gin and juice, Jack and Coke, Sprite and vodka, you know.
Delicious. You got a professional canteen. That is how a functional alcoholic rolls.
Oh yeah, the flasks are too small for me, you know.
Exactly. There's never enough in the flask. You gotta get the thermos. You need a kegger.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hello.
Hey, what's up, Reaper?
Hey, Reaper.
But yeah, no, just make you a good 7 and 7 on ice and put it in there.
Oh. Trying to mess with my setup right here. This is actually a new setup that I have whenever I pop onto here or on Liz's stream, just so that, you know, because I've rearranged everything. So where I am right now is where my computer used to be. So everything's like.
It's fun setting up the studio though, like figuring out like the angles and how you want to like have everything behind you is always fun.
Oh yeah, actually this is my piano like corner, and like there's an amp down here, so my music corner, I guess, and Christmas corner for this month.
Sitting right next to that fucking ghoul flag.
Yeah, there's a ghoul flag, and then on top of that is a Watain and a Mayhem flag as well. Oh, yeah.
I remember the Mayhem flag, but I love Watain.
Let's see. I can put it up. Yeah, see.
Oh yeah. Now that's fun. Dude. That's nice. That's very nice.
Hold up, and I gotta put it back up. There we go.
I was about to say we don't need to see the angle that you use for your OnlyFans, okay?
I was definitely looking forward to that.
It's like you want. What is it? Oh, what you guys want to see my feet?
No.
Maybe.
Gotcha. I'm not wearing. I'm wearing Doc Martens right now.
And now that's hot. That's hot.
Oh, she found candy. Did you find candy?
Hubby just gave me one of my favorite candies. They're called Rocky Road, and I don't even know. Okay, first of all, nobody should eat them. Second of all, it's just marshmallow. It's a bar of marshmallow covered in chocolate, and then they sprinkle a few cashews on top of it, and they call it a candy bar. It's not. It's diabetes in plastic, and I love it. I love it. It's
Hi, I'm Wilford Brimley, and I have diabetes.
I have diabetes. Yes.
It hurts me.
That sounds good. I wonder.
Me to be short with my family.
So good.
I wonder if they sell that here.
I'm not sure. I know you can get them online. So if you're actually looking for one, this is like an old school American candy. No lie. It's as old as fucking what do you call them? Whatchamacallit bars. Ha.
Oh, I love whatchamacallit, dude. Whatchamacallits are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I haven't had those too. I'm ashamed to say.
You've never had
those are tasty.
No,
those
I've never had it.
I've
had just the basics that everyone has, which is, you know, the Hershey's, the Snickers, the
mainstream candies.
The mainstream candies, yeah.
Yeah, no, you got to start looking for the Annabes. Okay, so this company is called Annabelle. Annabelle is an old American candy company. They have some tasty thins. Just but don't eat a zero bar because those are disgusting.
No, zero bars are actually pretty good.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
No, they're not. They're horrible. But
hang on, we're getting off the point. The fact that Rav has never had a whatchamacallit.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can go to the dollar store and grab one.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, Rav, this is for you.
You're stupid. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, you can just go on without me.
Oh, stop. Get your ass back in. Get your ass back in here, boy.
Yes.
Get back, boy.
No, I've never. I'll tell you one thing that I don't consider a candy bar, and that's a Mounds or an Almond Joy. I don't consider those candy bars.
Really? Actually, you know, I have to
so
disagree with
good.
you there. Not so much the Mounds, but the Almond Joys. I don't know. Those are my go-to kind of.
Well, first of all, I don't like coconut. So
this is pretty much like a marshmallow Mounds. That's what
That's
it is.
just a
That's
big
exactly
ass
what it
piece
is.
of marshmallow.
that's all it is. I mean,
That's all it is.
see, if a candy company gets lazy enough, they'll come out with they'll just be like, "What are we going to put out this month? How about a big ass marshmallow with chocolate and peanuts on it? Sounds good."
So I like simple candy, and I think that's probably why I like the Mounds, Almond Joys, and stuff like this. Just simple. It's just like, here's a piece of sugar, and then I covered it in some chocolate. Here you go. Here's a piece of thin, and I put some chocolate on it, and you can eat that. And that's I'm happy with that. I'm very happy. I don't like my candy bars to have too much. Like, I don't want an uppity candy bar like a Take 5. There's too much going on in there. You've got pretzels, peanut butter, chocolate, nuts. Like, you're doing too much. I don't trust you.
It's supposed to be a party in your mouth, though.
I don't want a party in my mouth unless I'm at an orgy. I want a piece of candy that is simple and delicious.
Okay, simple candy to me would be my absolute, like, when it comes to candy, like my crack is Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah.
Those are just, especially the miniature ones.
In the freezer.
Fucking right, dude. No, I'll tell you something interesting that I did try a while back. I melted miniature Snickers down and I dipped a peanut butter sandwich into them. And it was fucking phenomenal. I'm like, if I could find a way to get ice cream involved in this, it would be fucking perfect.
They do.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure they do that because I know they have Reese's ice cream.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm talking about just making a literal peanut butter sandwich and then taking the melted Snickers, maybe putting the ice cream on, like only make half of one, put ice cream on the peanut butter.
You want peanut butter ice cream on a sandwich with the jelly and
no jelly, just peanut butter. Just
peanut butter. You're making a Cobb sandwich, and I think you should definitely experiment with that on camera because I want to see how that comes out. I really want to see someone try that. Just and like regular white bread.
No. Let's
have special bread. You have to do it with like regular.
Oh no. I'm not. No, okay, I tell you what, I would give my little respect to Cobb's and make it on a piece of Texas toast, just for the fuck of it.
Just okay, nice thick
Texas toast.
Just for the fuck of it. But no,
spread the ice cream and then the peanut butter, and then you like crumble up some Reese's and put that on top, and then you could have a sandwich. But you'd have to hurry up and eat it.
Yeah,
the shelf life is short.
Right, exactly. I mean, it can be done, but see, the difference between what I'm talking about and what Cobb's does is I make good stoner food. Like, I think about ideas before I execute them. I'm like, would this work? I don't think so. Okay, on to plan B. So, but Cobb's, he sticks with plan A every fucking time.
Okay, let's go.
He at least doesn't waste any food. That's one thing. But what he
he's wasting food making some of the shit that
you could make the argument that he wastes ingredients making what he
But he eats everything he makes. So, that's good. Hey Jello.
What up, Jello?
He's my favorite. He always makes me feel like I'm not an old biddy. I love it.
Oh, you're not an old biddy. Stop it.
I am an old biddy. I am. And I have a fupa. I got a fupa.
And
with the heart. Yes.
Yeah. Oh damn! Now I want some fucking candy. Fuck.
It's good.
I'm
candy. That's what we do.
Yeah, but always remember, go and buy your candy the day after a holiday.
Yes.
Always.
I did that for this past Halloween. I got like a big thing of like Snickers, like the bite-sized ones for like half off.
And they lasted you a day, didn't they?
Yeah,
2 come
days.
on.
Yeah.
Pops.
Actually, I
been
think
doing
that's
it since we were little.
I think that's actually about their standard shelf life is 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
is
always
every
been a
like
tradition.
pastry,
Yeah.
like pantry pastry goods, like Pop-Tarts. They don't last very long.
No.
No matter how many you buy, they're always gone in like 5 days.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
It's that and also like juices too. If you ever get like what is it? The Arizona jug iced teas.
Yeah, never lasts.
Never lasts.
No. Like especially in the case of I would just have to say everyone here, because especially if you smoke weed, stuff like that's not going to last.
Yeah, you have to realize that you eat so much. Like, have you ever gotten so stoned and like, okay, so I got really high yesterday and I ate like half a cake and didn't even know that I ate half a cake. Right, because I kept taking like small pieces of the cake, thinking, "Oh, I'm just gonna have a little piece of cake. It's fine."
This
and then
cake
dinner
wasn't in
rolls
the closet,
around.
was it?
No, I don't have cake. I don't have closet cake. My husband does that. So I finally get to dinner last night, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna serve everybody some cake," and I'm like, "Who ate half the cake?"
You had to see, like, how long did you laugh at yourself at that point?
I think I cried in the kitchen laughing at myself. I was just like, I'm stupid. And then my tummy hurts like around 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, there it is. It caught up with me. Okay, got me.
Oh God. I mean, I've done
I
that.
can't be the only stoner that does that.
Oh no, I've literally sat down, like gotten stoned as fuck, sat down to watch a movie, and the next thing I know, I'm like halfway through a fucking bag of Doritos. Like,
I get the family bag because it's a better price, and I'm like, oh, I'll divide it up into smaller bags, but I open the whole bag.
Yes, the whole bag.
You just open it, and you're like, I'm gonna have a couple chips, and then you eat the whole fucking bag.
exactly. Like you're just sitting there and you're just so enthralled in whatever you're watching, and the next thing you know, you look down and the bag is fucking empty. Exactly. And then you look around like somebody ate all my fucking Doritos.
Yes, my husband does that. He gets mad and he'll be like, he likes Slim Jims. Nobody eats Slim Jims but my husband. He gets the munchies, he likes them. So I buy them in bulk, like you get the boxes. And then like as soon as they're gone, he'll be like, somebody ate all my Slim Jims. It's like, no, you ate the Slim Jims, babe. You don't know.
He doesn't do a Macho Man Randy Savage impression.
My husband always sounds like Macho Man Randy Savage. He's like, when he's mad, he always has that. But he's like a gangster version of that. If Macho Man grew up on like South Central LA, sounds like.
Cream of the crop rises to the top again.
Check yourself, fool. You know,
it's a cross between like Mr. T and
T
Macho Man.
Somewhere in there is where my husband is. Yeah.
Call him Mr. Macho.
There you go.
Or Macho or Macho T, maybe. A South Central Macho Man.
South Central LA.
South Central LA Macho Man specifically. Like that's very specific. It's a very specific lingo.
Oh God, what the fuck is happening? Okay.
Just talking about the stuff and things.
We started off with talking about how stories about getting super high.
Well,
this is where we are.
Exactly, because I'm super high, but of course everyone who tunes into the show already knows that. So this evening I wanted to and I invited Slim, but I'm not quite sure where he is. But one thing, Miss Parker and I, we were on Lizard's stream a few days ago, and we had a small back and forth about things going on in the music industry, like obscenity trials and freedom of speech and things like that. And I wanted to bring her on and continue, or even like just build on that conversation, because I've been thinking so much about it, and it made me remember a lot of the things and the details that I'd come across over the years when it comes to things like that, or finding things that you don't find shocking or anything else, but like you give it to someone else and they're like, dear God, what the fuck is this? You know,
challenging your sensibilities and whatnot.
Exactly. Like I honestly would love to just go up to someone like coming out of a church and just hand them like a Mayhem album. Just be like, you're welcome, and then just walk away. It just just to fuck with people. But that's one of the first things I thought that we should start with is definitely talking about the definition of the word obscenity, because everyone's definition everyone's definition is different. What Miss Parker may not find obscene, I may find obscene, and vice versa. That's I don't think I have you in Discord, Rex.
The Rex.
If someone is in contact with Rex and they want to send that to him, that would be absolutely fine. But let's take album covers, for example, which is always the best part of any musical experience. Like I've said before, like I've bought records just simply not knowing who the band is. Like especially in Rav will back me up on this one. When it comes to black metal, if you can't read the logo, it has to be good or it has to be terrible.
I don't know. Can you read this that I have on my T-shirt right now?
Hang on, let's.
The letters are a little blocky, but I know
it's simulating the. It looks like runes and Hebrew letters.
It's German text. It's like that German Gothic text.
Oh, interesting. Who is that?
It's KONONENFFIEBER. So it's Kanonenfieber. They're a melodic Blackened death metal band from Bamberg, Germany.
You said Kanonenfieber?
Kanonenfieber, yeah.
That's just fun to fucking say.
That actually sounds pretty badass. I'm not even gonna lie. That was pretty badass. I don't know German too much, but I'm like, whatever that is, I like it. That was
directly translates to cannon fever, and their whole aesthetic is if I could stand up just for a little bit, like that. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super metal.
This is their Menschenmühle album, which is a World War I themed album, and it's so fucking brutal. I highly recommend it to anyone that likes like that raw, visceral black metal, but also has like a nice melodic side to it and a bass you can hear too.
Okay, all right, you've sold me. Send me a link to one of their albums.
I will send. They just released an EP recently. Oh no, you go. Sorry.
What?
Oh no! I thought you were still talking. I was like,
I was about to say, can't hear you.
Yeah, I can hear him. I think you're coming in and out a little bit with him. Yeah.
You go.
He's got a
go.
little lag.
Oh, he's definitely got a little lag. I for some reason I thought I was like, oh, he's gonna say something, so I'll just hold off for a bit.
Damn it.
In the meantime, hold up.
Like for the word obscenity in and of itself.
What's going on. I've already restarted this thing.
Oh no. I was gonna say the definition of obscenity in and of itself is just subjective. Each definition, so it's an adjective, and it's supposed to be like anything that's the opposite of moral or virtue is something that's incites in depravity, contains language like that's taboo in polite usage, or anything that's like, I think the other one is anything that's against reasonable, moral, ethical principles, like PC. Is it politically correct? Is it so outside of political correctness that most people would find it to be offensive? And then there's if it's too expensive, right? If somebody like when Rev said his Tinto saga was $2 million. That was obscene. Like, that was absolutely obscene, for sure.
Right. The one thing that gets me though is, especially nowadays, like everybody is so like easily offended by something, and everyone
is a moral
everyone
busybody.
Right, everybody's trying to tell everybody what they can and can't do, which is not, I mean, that's not the way things are supposed to be. I mean, if we are supposed to actually have a free society, people should be able to like read and watch watch movies like they want to see and everything like that without somebody screaming about some part of it. But the one thing that I find entertaining is that throughout all of that, especially what we have nowadays, like album covers, like go back and look at a lot of the old school album covers, like especially the metal album covers. Like let's take the Cannibal Corpse album covers, for fuck's sake.
Oh
like
yeah.
nobody is screaming about those anymore. Like that's the least of their worries apparently.
Yeah, it's like meh, that's not brutal enough anymore. Now there's porno grind fucking album covers that you got to contend with.
Well, I think a lot of times, I don't even think it's that people are offended. I think a lot of this, especially with the whole PC, what do they call me, an SJ warrior? A lot of it is just weaponizing morality. They're weaponizing the conversation of morality. They're weaponizing the idea of obscenity to get someone in trouble, right? Like, think about Kyrie Irving is a great example. Kyrie posted a link to a video that was obscene. Okay, that he didn't say anything. He didn't make any real comment. He just shared a video that happened to be obscene, that people saw was obscene. Kanye West,
oh fuck,
oh man,
literally has been on a tirade for like almost a month now with just obscene anti-Semitic rhetoric, and the media are looking at them completely different. Some people are holding Kanye as like a hero. The MAGA people, he's a hero. If you go to D-Roy Cruz, he's a hero. He's brave. Oh my God, I can't believe he's saying the things that nobody will say.
You go to Tim Pool's comment section, pretty much the majority of it is like, Tim Pool fucked up. You should have let Kanye spoke. He's a true fucking hero.
Yeah. So it's like that's really wild. So what is obscene? The only thing I can see now at this point is just people use that as a weapon. You're trying to weaponize the court of public opinion. And because the court of public opinion is so folly and subjective, you can sway people either way as long as your bullhorn is long enough, loud enough.
Or one thing, we see the veil of this getting very, very thin, and it's the separation of church and state. Like that veil in a lot of places, especially around where I'm from, that veil is so fucking thin. Like you could, like if you cut it with a razor blade, it would just disappear. I mean, it's... What's up, Rex?
Ooh, another person.
Oh, hey everybody. Hey, Miss Parker. Hey, Rev.
Hola.
How you,
son?
How you doing, man?
Cold, man. It's fucking cold up here.
But
where is cold?
If I was sitting any closer to my heater, it'd be in my lap. I mean, seriously.
Need to get you, Miss Parker. You're muted, I think.
I said we need to get him he's sitting up in a mountain somewhere running from the FBI. That's what he's doing.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
I know he's up in somebody's mountain. I don't know if he's in the Mojave Mountains. I don't know where, but he's in a mountain somewhere. Cold as hell.
Yeah, that's cold.
Caves get cold. Caves get really fucking cold. But the like I said, the veil between separation of church and state, and now even federal, like church and federal government separation, is getting very, very fucking thin, and that terrifies the shit out of me. Like I think it was just like a few weeks ago. I believe it was and I'm paraphrasing, but Mike Pence said that people should not have the right to have freedom from religion. Like,
oh, see, that's just shit.
Yeah, they've already shifted the argument. The argument is changing to I deserve to be able to preach my religion to this is a Christian nation. And because what's being taught right now from the pulpit to the voting house is that God is punishing America right now. The reason why children are dying, the reason why there are so many diseases, the reason why America's losing money, why you don't have a job right now is because we've allowed homosexuals, transgender, illegal immigrants, and the other to come into our country, the atheists, the New World Order to come into our country, and they are trying to turn us into an atheistic nation. God is punishing us. And if we don't stop it, we're going to die. This is tribulation for them. They believe that Donald Trump is sent here to save America. He is the second coming of Christ. And anyone who opposes him is fighting against what God wants them to do. And I know that sounds batshit crazy, but I promise you, this is what they're talking about. They have seminars. They're doing tours. They do jubilees. They've been doing this for the last 6 weeks. And if you go on Truth Social, you can find the ministers, pastors, and churches that are promoting this idea. Now Kanye West is the new Messiah. If Kanye West gets hurt, if Kanye West was to accidentally die, if Kanye West was to off himself in the next couple of weeks, he will become the martyr of the new religion that is MAGA. And that's what they believe. They believe that they are trying to save the country by getting into the law. They said we can't let this country go into the hands of the evil atheists because then God is he's gonna kill us. So this is a holy war.
Right. And this is where a good place to get into our topic of discussion, the start of it, because let's go back. Let's go back before Rav was born. You young motherfucker. But let's start so let's look at it like this. So every generation has its own music, its own sounds, its own vibes and everything. We've clearly seen this throughout the decades. But now, and I think that's where the whole obscenity thing starts. Let's start with Elvis first and foremost.
Elvis the pelvis. Yeah.
He was one of the first ones to get censored. They were very upset with Elvis and his little hip movements. Yeah.
Well, if I may concur with what Ms. Parker just previously said, it doesn't just sound batshit crazy. It is batshit crazy.
Oh, it's fascism. Is what it is.
Then again, I mean, if Kanye can make Alex Jones seem like the reasonable one, I believe that.
I'm surprised that Alex Jones is still on the fucking air at this point because he owes motherfuckers a lot of money.
I swear to God, it was like a joke. It was like a fucking setup for a joke. Hey, what happens when a black racist, a white racist, and a Jew hater all walk into a bar together? You know, like it's the setup to the most offensive joke in history. And it's like, it actually happened. You know, like what?
Well,
it was wild.
To be fair, Kanye West has always been a joke anyway. Like, I'm sorry. I've never respected him or liked him at all. So therefore, he's a gay fish.
Mother Teresa was a joke to people, but she still had a huge impact on the world.
Oh yeah.
But she had a positive impact on the world.
Okay.
Well,
now that the pain and suffering is the only way to salvation.
Yeah, well, let me
okay.
Let me rephrase then. Her public
image is positive.
Yes.
The image is positive, but the reality of her suffering was very far-reaching. The same thing can be said. Elvis was really cool, right? Everybody loved Elvis. Everybody loved his music, but there was an entire group of Americans who thought Elvis was the devil. There were Christians in this country who thought Elvis was the devil. And if they let their daughters listen to Elvis, they were all of a sudden going to sleep with black guys. They called it N-word music. Okay, they did not like it. They did not want their kids doing this. So when Elvis gets out there and he's shaking his little peen in front of the camera, they're like, "Oh no, not today, Satan!" Literally, and they make him, film from this part up. And they even tried to censor his lip curl. They even tried to censor that because they were like, "That's too sexy. You're making our little girl." Yeah, even the lip curl came into question.
Yeah,
I knew about the only filming him from the waist up. I knew about that.
Yeah, that was Ed
on the Ed Sullivan show. He got to shake his hips for literally like a minute. They cut the camera away, and when they come back, it's just for the rest of the show.
Right?
Like, no.
Everybody in the audience is getting the full show. Like you're not getting your money's worth at home, folks.
You can hear the girls are screaming. You can see them like they're totally fangirling out, and they're just
Did you see the movie, the Elvis movie?
I haven't seen any recent ones.
I haven't seen that biopic, the
There's
recent one, right?
Yeah, the recent biopic of Elvis.
Okay.
It's actually very good. I would recommend watching it. I think it's by the same person who did Rocket Man and Bohemian Rhapsody.
Unless they tell the story of him fucking his black dancers, I don't want to see it. I want somebody to finally tell that story. That's what I want.
And where he got the inspo for Hound Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want to know how he got his little hip sway.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that they don't want to tell you about Elvis. He didn't steal anything other than a guitar that he did steal and confess to. He stole a guitar from an old black dude. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Literally stole a guitar from an old black guy. But that's another story for another day. Elvis did a lot of fuck shit, but he didn't steal rock and roll. He learned it from his friends. The white company that owned Elvis, because that's how record labels worked at the time. They give you your music. You don't get to decide what to sing. They tell you what you're going to sing. And the artists that Elvis got his lyrics from were on the same label that he was on. Black artists were not allowed on the radio. The radio was segregated, just like the water fountains. So the record companies wanted to sell their music regardless. So they let Elvis sell the stuff to be the front man for it, so they could play it on white radio. Nobody stole anything from anybody. It's just a record label being shady as fuck, like always.
A friendly white face for like the general audience at the time.
Exactly. They just sold him that way.
Yeah, and plus he was like an Army veteran. So, how can you go wrong with that? So.
And then he got to do movies. Come on, like Elvis was a thing.
He was Americana at the time.
Yeah, and he helped to usher in that type of music. So when people say he stole it, it's like that's not really the true story.
Exactly. Like he just became the image that everyone saw when you talked about, oh, this is the face of rock and roll.
That's why they called him the king of rock and roll, which I mean,
but he is not. Yeah, but here's the thing: there is a queen of rock and roll. He does need to be dethroned, and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has finally gave credit where credit's due. Rosetta Thorpe is the very first rock and roll artist of all time. She is a Black woman. She is the first one to bring an electric guitar on stage. She is the first one to do that kick that you see people do when they be just bouncing on the stage, one leg up.
Duck walk.
The duck walk. She did that. That was her thing. And then the Beatles saw her. Chuck Berry, exactly. Chuck Berry saw her. They got a lot of their mannerisms and their showmanship from her. So if you don't know who she is, her name is Rosetta Thorpe. She is the queen of rock and roll, and she gave it to everybody. She was badass. That was a bad bitch. She got married 4 times, and she was a lesbian. Okay, she was a bad bitch. She really was.
And her music is just absolutely tremendous.
She's.
I mean, it's earth shattering. But when you start looking at Elvis, let's move a little bit further into other people when it comes to the obscenity thing, and a lot of it is also a lot of shocking shit. Let's look at Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis. Now he was on some fuck shit. That was some fuck shit.
Out in the open,
right?
Out in the open, fuck shit. Not incestual marriage of an underage person. Correct?
Yes. Yes, his cousin.
His cousin. Yes.
Was it his cousin or?
Yeah. She just recently released a book. She did one I want to say like 10, 15 years ago, and she's done another one recently, talking about everything. Talking about Mother Teresa.
Yeah, back to that point. Yeah, that is exactly the point. It's like, why was she a saint again? I looked it up. I was like, this is some fucking bullshit right here.
Really fuck.
Yeah, more fuck shit. But like, you had Jerry Lee Lewis marrying his underage cousin.
While he was married to someone else.
Right. You had Johnny Cash emerging slowly.
Heroin addict, wife abuser,
painkillers, alcoholic. Like,
but you know, made a bunch of good songs. Like, oh wait,
great
no,
songs.
he didn't make this song, but he got popular with it, which was Wayfaring Stranger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was a culture that what is the place? It's called the Grand Ole Opry.
Nashville.
Nashville pumped out so many amazing artists that just happened to be racist, heroin addict, wife abusing assholes. It's almost as if there was a coincidence happening, but I can't quite put my Americana finger in the pie.
Like Miss Parker's just kind of like just hovering over the pie, but the finger will not go in.
I can't get it in there.
She's just looking at it like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching
Oh, that reminds me of a meme of Johnny Cash I saw, and he's like, "You might have been fucked up, but you haven't been Johnny Cash fucked up sitting in the bushes eating a cake."
Oh man,
right.
Man. How many celebrities have been in those moments? You know what I mean? Like there's Elvis in the bushes. There was what's his name eating the burger on the floor being racist. Who was that? Mel Gibson, I think it was.
Yeah. You're talking about Hasselhoff, yeah.
Was it Hasselhoff? And then like everybody, yeah, he was like on the floor, like drunk as shit, eating a burger, just saying all the anti-Semitic shit he could. He was fuck the yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's probably one reason why David Hasselhoff is so popular in Germany.
I was getting ready to say that. You beat me to
it.
Yeah. But you had, and everyone is preaching that rock and roll is the devil's music and all this shit. And then like you have this whole slew of artists. Okay, well then you move, like you get into the 60s and you started, like the hippie movement began and everyone was dropping acid and smoking pot, and you had bands like, and it was like I was telling Miss Parker earlier, I actually have a friend of mine who swears up and down that Led Zeppelin is a cover band.
I can see that. Like if you don't know Led Zeppelin, I could totally see that.
A lot of like the bluesy licks that Jimmy Page was known for, can be traced directly to a bunch of like 60s bands, you know?
Well, right. I mean, obviously, because you had bands that were, like I said, you know, everyone was smoking pot and dropping acid and going to, like I've been reading a book called The Long Strange Trip. It's the basically the oral history of the Grateful Dead. And one thing that they would talk about is going to these, like they weren't like necessarily shows, but they would just put lights everywhere, cut the main lights out, sell hits of acid for like $1 or $2, and play music. And they were just like social gatherings, and just all that's what they were doing was just dropping acid.
Bob Dylan did those, and he recorded his. They're called the basement tapes for him. A lot of artists did that. Petey Wheatstraw, the comedian, all of his recordings are done like that. They're just done in a room. They have a mic, and they're all doing drugs. And you can hear everyone in the background. That's why, like, sometimes in some of those albums that you hear, that weird background sound is literally because they are just in someone's house. They're just, that's why they say, oh, that depth, that when you listen to older music versus when you listen to it today, the reason it's so different is because music today is clean. There is no extra
super
sounds.
Digital.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, that is a good point that you bring up, because if like a lot of these songs that would then be recorded and then put onto like little 7-inch singles, they were it legit was just a mic,
just a
hanging
mic
in the middle.
Hanging in the middle of a room. It's like the first Burzum album. That's exactly what Varg Vikernes did. He just went into a studio, told them to hang one mic in the center of the room,
and also said it.
Yes, and he said, "Give me the shittiest amp you got."
Yeah, and I mean, and when I tell people like that I've that I know that are like to find weird, obscure music, I'm like, go and listen to the first Burzum album, and they'll go and listen to it and be like, that was fucking crazy. But like, yeah, hard to believe that's one guy, isn't it? And
it's like you like his music. Well, you won't like him as an individual. Just stay at the music.
Yeah. Just enjoy the music. Yeah,
yeah. Varg Vikernes is a fucking douche.
Music, I think a lot of times we forget. There's a reason why rock and roll is considered the devil's music. It's because how rock and roll became a thing in the first place. There's a history behind rock and roll. And the only reason I know it is, again, because I studied Rosetta Thorpe. So what happened was, and this is in white and black churches at the time. So like in the 30s, 40s in America, you had very big churches in the cities. And the music that was being sung was very conventional, right? You know, oh, kumbaya, my Lord, fun stuff like that. Well, you have a new generation of kids that are coming up and they're listening to the world's music, stuff that they're playing in the jazz scene, in the clubs and things like that. That all of a sudden starts getting married to gospel music. Yes. Once they start bridging that together, that's when we get this beautiful, like, it's like the birth of R&B and rock happened at the same time. And it literally came out of big band swing music and traditional Christian American choir music. Once that started blending, you started seeing artists like Rosetta Thorpe, like Chuck Berry, like clubs like the Cotton Club. All of these things start popping up, and it changed music forever. The churches didn't like it. They were losing revenue. They were losing people. So they had a whole campaign against the devil's music, against all of it. It wasn't just the guitar, because they didn't like the amp. They said that plugging a guitar up is against the Lord, because David didn't have electricity in his music. Think about it. So that was their fundamental. Their argument was, well, God didn't have electricity in their instruments, so God doesn't want that. God wants you to have drums and tambourines and the stuff that's in the Bible. Like that was their argument about it. Now, you know, fast forward a couple hundred years, the argument is you're going to summon demons, you know? So,
oh, yeah.
But there's a birth there. There's always been a threat, and the threat is money. The church was losing money. The church was losing people. And then what happens is rock and roll starts adopting that dark look. So it's like, oh, you're going to tell me I'm a devil worshiper? Well, then fuck yeah, I'm a devil worshiper.
Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah.
And then we'll do it. So they just double down.
Exactly.
And it turned into what it is today. And I think it's terrifying, but hey, you know.
I mean, honestly, I have to take my hat off to a lot of artists that, like, being someone who grew up in the 90s and started finding a lot of darker music and everything as I got older. I have to take my hat off to those people, because like they were the ones that were just sticking the middle finger in the face of all of those people and just like, you know what, fuck you. You don't like what I do, that's your opinion, but that's not going to stop what I'm going to do, because this is my art. But then, and then you move into the 70s, and then of course there was.
Wait. Let's back up to the 60s for a minute. Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, that dude was.
That was a whole generation of rock artists, right? Like there's the 60s. The 60s were interesting in the sense that record labels were picking up everyone. Right. Everybody could get a record deal at that time. So there is a very large variety of music. When it talks about rock and roll, that's when rock and roll, I think in the 60s, blew up into all the different genres. It's because record labels were saying, oh yeah, we'll take you, Janis Joplin. That bitch can't sing, but get over here. You know, like everybody was getting it.
Anyone that says that Janis Joplin can't sing, I'm sorry, but I have to disagree. That woman sang. That woman
it's
sang,
just like Bob Dylan. She can sing because we all can sing, but she sings like Bob Dylan. You know what I mean? Like, you're not a Mariah Carey, but I love what you do. Okay, like Macy Gray. It's not the best voice in the world, but I love that you love what you do. I still love her.
Her like every time I hear one of her songs and I hear her get real raspy when she screams.
Yeah, the raspy.
I'm like, that is a woman singing from her soul. Like,
exactly. That's why people love her, right? It's, you can feel the passion behind it, but she doesn't have like one of those really clean voices that you get out of a more professional singer. And nowadays, if Janis Joplin was trying to get an album, she wouldn't get one. There's no way.
And see, that's the sad part about it. And just a quick side note, I always like to point out that we're losing all the legends, the true legends. Like, people can say like people nowadays are legendary, but I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you, because they may be to you, but especially if it's somebody who hasn't, taken the time to actually go back and see who influenced the people that they enjoy. Like, we are literally like, we lost Lemmy and we've lost Bowie, and we lost George Harrison. Like all of the good ones are leaving us, and you kind of want to just look up at the sky and be like, God will give you Kanye West and Justin Bieber if you give us back a list about 10 miles long.
Don't get drunk on nostalgia. Don't get drunk on the nostalgia, because as legends die, heroes are born. So there will be, as dreary as it seems right now, there are artists right now who are creating amazing pieces. The problem is, it's just a little harder to find. The ocean has so much more water in it than it did when we were growing up. And it's just harder to find those authentic artists, but they're there. They're there. They exist.
I agree that they're there. It's just and it's not necessarily, I don't think, to me, I wouldn't consider it nostalgia. I think it's more of someone who has played music and jammed with a lot of people over the years and gone back and found things that I didn't before, and things I forgot about. I think for me it's more of a respect thing, because these were people that I think the best way I can put it is, a quote from Marilyn Manson's like, you can put on a record and it's not going to ridicule you for dressing the way that you do. It's going to make you feel better about it, and so I think it's just more of a respect thing for me, because these are people that have given me a small ray of sunshine in a dark world.
And I think that happens for every generation. Like right now, my oldest stepson, he has his artists that he plays when he's in his dark moments, when he's dealing with the feelings that he needs to deal with. For me, I can't stand the music. I've listened to some of it. He's told me, has given me the reason why he loves it, the passion behind it. And he's like, "No, Ma, you gotta listen. Do you hear what he said there? Do you understand what he means? This is what it is." So there are people still having those moments. So the attachment you have to your legends and your heroes and the ones that moved your life are very personal for you. And that's why having a conversation about what obscenity is absolutely ridiculous, because you're going to identify with what moves your spirit, right? Not to sound all fucking spiritual, but that's the best way that I can say it. Like, art isn't tangible. It's not a tangible thing. When you do music, right, you're just putting it out there. It's not something that you can hold. I can't hold on to a song, right? I can't grab it. I can't really do anything with it but listen to it. And it's going to invoke whatever feelings that it invokes in me. Once an artist creates that, it's up to the listener, to interpret what that is for them. So it's, like I said, you find that song to be inspirational, beautiful. It moves you. It brings you to a special place. Somebody else hears it. It takes them to the worst place they've ever been, but who's to really say what's good or bad about it?
Oh, exactly. I mean, when I'm like feeling down and I listen to circle back to Jimi Hendrix, I listen to All Along the Watchtower. That's one of my favorite songs he ever did.
Bob Dylan did it better.
Whoa. Gotta
Bob
disagree on that.
Dylan
I love Bob Dylan's version, but Hendrix is so much better.
Yeah,
And I like
it
Dylan's
just picks
version
me up.
better. I gotta
Well, it
have
just
Dylan.
picks me up.
Yeah, I love
Well, I
that.
mean, you know, crowbars. So I mean, you know, there's that.
Just real quick, Miss Parker, what you were just talking about, as talking about how it makes you feel. Um, one of the greatest quotes about music that I have ever read is by Aleister Crowley, and it says that the sole test of music is its power to exalt the soul.
There it is.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. The reason why certain songs last forever. Okay. You can play Frank Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon in almost any setting, and it's going to bring people joy for whatever reason. It's just one of those songs. Michael Jackson was brilliant at creating music that made you happy. Even when he was singing about horrible things, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Motherfuckers are pop locking to that. Do you understand? He's talking about
Man in the Mirror is one song for me that exemplifies just that you're talking about.
Right.
And it makes you feel good listening to the horror of, you know what I mean? He made it. He was masterful at it. So music again is art, and I don't think people should censor art. It's just.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm done. I'll bloviate for hours. You know me. Go ahead.
And I do want to give a quick shout out to Brother Skits for the $5 dono. Thank you so much, brother. We do appreciate it. My thing, I've always said that music is the purest form of magic. And this is what I mean by that. Music is the purest form of magic because it literally comes from the hands of those inspired to make it. And it's formed from that. So literally you can consider musicians modern day magicians. Because I'll give you some examples. Let's take a look at people who play the guitar. You have Chuck Berry, you have Jimi Hendrix, you have Dimebag Darrell, you have Eddie Van Halen, you have Joe Satriani,
BB King, baby.
BB
King.
BB King, Muddy Waters.
Wes Montgomery, to throw a jazz guitarist in there.
There you go. And then of course, let's look at drummers. You have Vinnie Paul, you have John Bonham, Ringo Starr.
I know who that is. I know who Ringo. I don't know a lot of drummers, but I do know who Ringo is.
My name's Ringo. I play the drums.
Play the drum.
I wrote a song about an octopus.
Yeah, sure thing, Ringo. Sure thing, you did.
We'll put it over here on the fridge.
When you have people, and I think the coolest thing, like you said, they're like magicians, and they are. It's like when you create something that changes everything that comes after it. Is that not magic? Right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I can totally see that there, and it happens a lot in music. You have somebody that does something different or a sound that just comes out and everybody's like, what? And it just kind of changes the whole, that entire genre. And it's amazing.
It is. It's like like being someone, like Rav, who's into, also into heavy music. Like the day that Dimebag Darrell was killed was like a shocking, especially being a huge Pantera fan like I am, and that man's talent on a guitar was something that just spoke to me and helped me through a lot. And then he's gone in a flash. And now that we have the songs, we have the records and everything like that, but they're not here to keep that going. And that impacted, like, God knows how many people around the world. But then I mean, also incidents like when John Lennon was killed, when Jim Morrison died.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the plane crash where we lost Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper the day the music died. Things like that. It just saddens me that.
Well, we're all gonna die.
Well, yeah. I mean, it saddens me that things. One thing that I enjoy doing is especially. Like, cause you can talk to people about music and you can be like, oh yeah, well we like, Sabbath and BB King and stuff like this. Okay. But then you start mentioning other people, like like a lot of the stuff in the 90s that I found and, friends showed me, be like, have you ever heard of a band called Second Coming? No, I haven't. Okay. Well, here's, look them up. Well, now just go to YouTube, look them up. They're great. But a lot of stuff gets forgotten about. And that's like, as wonderful as the magic of music is, there are a lot of it gets forgotten. And that's what breaks my heart, because the ones that get forgotten are still some of the greatest people that have put music out ever, but nobody's ever heard of them or nobody bothered to go back and try to find them.
Well, a lot of them get forgotten. Rosetta Tharpe was almost forgotten until somebody apparently found a few old documents, and her poor little gravestone that was almost, it was sad. Poor thing. She was almost written out of history. There are a lot of artists who will be forgotten. Think about all the artists we just don't know about. When I want to say there were a few record labels that had started in the early 1900s in America that we have no record of.
Wow.
There are a few articles, you can see like concert clippings and things like that, but we'll never be able to hear what that song actually sounded like. It wasn't until about 1930, 1940 that we actually had technology that was readily available enough for people to start recording on their own. And even then, some of those albums just never made it to the public. They were destroyed. There were fires. There's families throw stuff away. You have to really, it's just like fossils in the record of time. The majority of what's been there, you're never going to even know about. You won't even know what you didn't miss, babe. You're not even going to know.
Well, I know, but just
it sucks.
It does suck. It does suck.
An existential crisis too, because I'm feeling sad now too.
Like
that's just the whole can of worms when it comes to like lost media. Lost music is part of lost media, and that goes in with like films that have films and TV shows from like the period that we're on right now, the 60s, like from that time that have just been lost in the sands of time. Yeah, and we don't know what we missed,
Well, one thing I did, actually it was a friend of mine found it and he played it for me, and it's on YouTube. I've looked it up, but it's a recording. It's recordings of prisoners on chain gangs, literally singing while they're swinging.
I've heard that. That is a project by the American Historical Society.
Oh,
they've been collecting a lot of these. So when the prisoners were doing this, the wardens, because remember the prisoners are owned by the state, they made albums and sold them to make more money for the prison. So that's how those things came into possession, and that's why the U.S. government has them, and they've been slowly being released. There's also if you go on the Wayback Machine, for those of you who don't understand what that is, the online archive is a huge tool. People have been doing it for, I don't even know how long they've been doing this, but if you go on there and you look for U.S. military radio station during the war, you're going to get live performances that you've never heard of artists that you don't know, because we don't have any other recordings of them except live performing for soldiers. There was a radio station that would play all the time because there was no television, but the soldiers could listen to the radio. So they would have this playing on the bases so they can have a sense of normalcy. And during the wars in America, the US government did live performances with some of the best unknown artists you've never known. So if you're looking for lost media, it is on the Wayback Machine. There are over, I want to say, like 1,500 hours of recordings, and I've only gone through a few.
Fucking Christ.
DM me what to search on the Wayback Machine, because I want just
you'll lose your shit.
Yeah,
US
just
military.
Just send me what to search for so I don't forget.
Yeah, I got you.
But he was playing these for me, and it was breathtaking. I mean, it was breathtaking what I was hearing, because there's no instruments. You know, it's just you can hear the chains moving and everything like that, but all they're doing is just hitting rocks and swinging hammers and singing, and that's how they're keeping the time, is with the hammers. And it was one of this. It was a euphoric moment to hear something like that, because like you don't ever think you will actually get to hear. Like, you can experience things in movies, like, you know, like if you go back and watch Oh Brother Where Art Thou, you see guys singing on the Chain Gang, but when you actually find actual recordings and hear it in that primitive recording style, it's magic. It is, once again, it's magical. It will in fact exalt the soul. I go back and listen to things like that every once in a while, like it just kind of like when I listen to jazz. Like, I really love to sit outside when it's raining on the porch and like put on some Coltrane, or, you know, just something to that effect. But it's kind of like finding old video or film of guys like Cab Calloway. I'm pretty sure I could show this, but go ahead, Rev. I'm gonna look something up.
No, I was gonna say, like, it better be Wet Central Park that you're listening to from Coltrane. No, no, because it's like, I'm just imagining, like, you're feeling down. Feeling down, and then it's like, okay, I'll put on some Coltrane, and Big Step comes on. You have no other feeling. You have no other feeling but either to feel conflicted or happy. You know, to the fast tempo of that song.
Right, now, this is a obviously this was the sound quality is actually really good. This was recorded off someone's television. Now, I'm not exactly sure where the video comes from, but this is footage of Cab Calloway with his full orchestra doing a song called Reefer Man, which is rather fitting. All right, so we should be able to show this. So let me
suck it, Viacom.
Okay, now real quick, I want to point out how young he is in this video. Because I mean, if you go and because I don't know, how old was he when they did the Blues Brothers movies, or the one that he was in? He was only in the first one. Yeah.
And I mean, on this video, Cab Calloway is in his late 20s, early 30s. He's still performing at the Cotton Club. You are watching him perform this song at the Cotton Club in New York City. This performance was recorded because Walt Disney wanted to use Cab Calloway's dance moves for what would later be the Jigaboo Ghost, who was doing this crazy little dance. And it was the first time someone wanted to map out the human form in motion for cartoons. Cab Calloway has an amazing history, folks. I can win at a trivia night. I could.
Oh yeah.
I know a lot of useless information about things that no one asks until they play a weird video like this. But this is a historical piece.
Have you seen this before, Miss Parker?
I also there's a couple other versions of it that are a little cleaner, but this one's pretty good.
I haven't been able to find a super clean version in a while.
They're hard. It's like media is being lost, and the Wayback Machine is working really hard at cataloging everything that was in print, that anything that's been found ever. I really encourage people to archive it because we don't want to lose that stuff, you know.
Right. All right, we'll watch a little bit more of this. And that smile, man. Like that was yes, absolutely. I mean, he was if you kind of, I would say like Little Richard. I mean, Little Richard was captivating. I mean, good Lord, to see him just up there like banging on a piano was just a sight to behold.
I got you the if you would like to see what became of the cartoon, one of the very first motion picture cartoons, I threw it in the private chat for you, and it's one of the very first motion pictures, full length cartoon motion pictures. Super cool. And if you didn't know, all of your cartoons are based in racism. Just to ruin all your cartoons, they're all based in racism.
Pretty much every early Disney movie is based in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean that's why you can't South anywhere anymore. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the obvious one, but I'm also talking about like the crows in the Dumbo movie as well.
There was a sequence. There was a sequence. Well, I was going to say there's a sequence in Fantasia that was taken out because it was racist. With the centaurs.
Oh, really?
You don't remember that? Yeah. Mm-mm. Yeah, there was a black centaur in that sequence that was taken out because it was racist.
Disney did a good old fashioned racism that they're doing.
Disney was good about the racisms, and the Walt was a horrible person. I don't think people understand how horrible he was.
Right. I mean, there's a whole like Disney cartoon of Donald Duck dressed up as a Nazi.
Oh, it gets worse than that. Disney had a contract with the military during World War II to make educational cartoons and commercials selling war bonds. And if you can find those, or if you're old enough to remember them, oh, buddy, are they offensive? they are bad. It talks about obscene. You know, when you think about that, like if we were to take Disney cartoons from the 30s and played them today, Disney would get canceled.
Oh, absolutely.
So who gets to determine obscenity? You know,
Disney has done a very, very good job of hiding its very shady past.
Refacing. They've done a lot of facelifts over the years.
Absolutely. But see, the other thing is like you had Disney doing that, but then you would still have cartoons where you would see Jim Crow imagery, which is just fucking insane. I mean,
it was up until the 90s that Disney finally let a little black kid kiss a little white kid. And they weren't little kids, they were teenagers. But it took that long. It wasn't until the 90s when they were like, oh, we'll finally do interracial stuff. Like, we're going to let white kids and black kids talk to each other. You know, it's really weird. It's been cringe.
All right, we'll watch a little more Cab, and then we'll pull up that cartoon you just sent me.
Go up high in the sky, Reefer Man.
He was known for his footwork.
Yep.
His amazing dance moves. He did tap dance. And then there's the brothers. I forgot the name of the two brothers. God damn it. Somebody's going to take my block card. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll remember them. It's amazing.
Swinging that hair around.
Early form of headbanging.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
There's something about
that was
number
nice.
one hit.
Get out of here, Ed.
like to see things like, yeah, just to see things like that is unreal. And I'm really glad that I've like there used to be an amazing version of it up on YouTube and it just vanished one day. So now we're gonna check out this.
They're called the Nicholas Brothers.
Ms. Parker sent me.
And yes, you're gonna love it. So this is where you get to see what happened of Cab Calloway's dance moves. How it was turned into the motions in a really cool cartoon.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going down to St. James Infirmary.
And that's his voice. You see is how he moves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before this cartoon, they weren't using that type of cell animation. It was everything was drawn on the same page. And so this is where we started seeing Disney revolutionize the way animation was made. He had one solid background that never changes, and then a cell in front of it that has beautiful motion, taking hundreds of artists, weeks, months to create just little bits and pieces, everything hand-drawn, inked, everything.
Wow. Now, the song that he's singing, St. James Infirmary, Hugh Laurie, from the guy who played House, does music. Obviously, he's an amazing piano player, everything like that. He has put out several records. He actually has one called St. James Infirmary. That is absolutely amazing.
This song, this Calloway, this song, that moment, all the songs he did, Jump and Jive, Heidi, Heidi, Heidi Ho, Heidi, Heidi, all the songs that he did gave birth to rock and roll, R&B, swing. He was one of the only African performers that was invited to be on television. Walt Disney wasn't talking to other Black people. They weren't frequenting the Cotton Club.
Right.
Yeah, like he broke the door. He hit his head on that glass ceiling and he opened it up for a lot of artists, not just Black artists, not just, everyone. He changed music, the way you perform on stage, the way we look at cartoons. He influenced so many different types of media just because he was so energetic on camera. And he was one of the first people to be considered obscene too.
Yes.
Because remember, he was Black, so that's a problem.
Wherever she may be, she will search this wide world over, but you never find another sweet man like me. Now when I die back in my straight leg breeches, on a box back coat and a something to hide, put a $20 gold piece on my watch chain so you can let all the boys know I died standing fast. Then give me 6
This is just amazing to see. It's so cool.
And to think, if you've never seen an animated thing before, right? You've never seen this. You live in a small town. All of a sudden, you get a motion picture theater and you're like, whoa, you know, this is the first time the music would change your life, right? All you've ever heard was church music. Now you go here and this is happening. This also further helped to kind of enforce that this music was devilish. It's evil. We have the visual.
Yes, the ghost.
Now we have our visuals. And anytime that they depict a black man, he's usually the brute. And so there it is. There's another villain. So, you know, the ideas that have just kind of turned into the phobias we have on rock and roll really are just started in, you know, people being bigots. It's really just about bigots. Let's be honest.
Right. Well, now that brings us up back to the discussion that you and I had, Miss Parker, on Lizard Stream. The censoring of all of this, because it offends a small group of what's the word I'm looking for? We'll just say folks. Like one of the things that the things that Miss Parker and I had mentioned, like we were talking about 2 Live Crew, we were talking about Tupac, we were talking about NWA, all of these artists, like especially hip hop artists in the late 80s and going into the early and mid 90s, they were being brought up on obscenity charges. Like, right. Like
we've been there before. I remember it.
But the only thing is, again, the people who are offended are the church. These are Christian coalitions and watch parties or whatever the fuck who are saying we are upset. So the reason we have the endorsement that MA bullshit is literally because a whole bunch of Christian moms got pissed off and they were like, no, we need to censor this. Same reason we have censorship on television. It's because it is pushed by Christian super PACs and groups that are like, we don't like this. That's why we're taking books out of schools. It's not the school district doing it. It's a small group of very angry, very politically charged extremists who want everyone to believe like them.
Okay. Let's go to the late 60s, early 70s. And we'll start with Black Sabbath. How about that?
Ooh.
Dong, dong, dong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I first
that was the devil's music.
Well, when I first heard Black Sabbath, it moved me. I was like, these guys are great.
Well, see, you had groups like Black Sabbath, Dio, Tigers of Pantang, Motorhead. You had them out there actually like scaring the fucking bejesus out of the churchgoers.
Oh, sure, that was
But see, it's one thing. It's one thing to freak them out and have fun doing it. But when it comes to getting the federal government involved, like here's one example we'll start with, and it's the band Body Count. Body Count put out a song called Cop Killer, and immediately George Bush, Dan Quayle, all of them were jumping on Ice-T's back because they wanted to say that he was advocating violence against police officers. But when you actually listen to him talk about the song, he's talking about what if like people just got really pissed off one day and went on a rampage. That's basically what he was talking about. It wasn't advocating for you to go out and kill cops. It was just about being angry about seeing things like your communities deteriorating, homelessness, police brutality, drugs, things like that. But federal government jumped on his back, and what did they do? They had to remove the song from the album and re-release it, which I mean, you can find copies of the full album with the song "Cop Killer" on there. I believe it's the first track, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, but it's a good song. I've listened to it many times over the years. The whole album is great. I mean, Ice-T doing heavy metal is fucking genius. But then you had the federal government sticking their nose in with NWA, which was one of the things that Miss Parker and I talked about. And it was just solely on that one. I can't remember, was it just the song "Fuck the Police" or was it the whole album?
I think it was multiple songs on the album. Songs have been used to put people in jail before, right? So there's several cases where people have admitted to crimes in music on lyrics, and then those songs are then used, as evidence in the crime. In these particular cases, like the ones with Eminem, Marilyn Manson, NWA, what it was, and like the band you were just talking about that did Cop Killer, it was literally an action pack. In all of these cases, there is an action committee that gets upset and takes it to the federal government. It's not the federal government that is offended. It is American citizens who are knocking on the federal government's door saying, hey, aren't you going to do something about this? That's what's happening. So it's like, we don't want to get upset with our government. The government really doesn't give a shit about the music. They never cared. There was no censorship about music. There was no television censorship. These things don't happen until American citizens say, we need to do this. And then the federal government has to make a regulation. Does that make sense?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember this one.
It's almost like people, again, are using being offended as a weapon. They're using morality and this PC as a weapon to silence the other. It does very much so feel strategic to me.
Oh, I can completely agree with you on that. I mean, you have. Let's give credit where credit's due. Obviously, I mean, the record Straight Outta Compton is a fucking masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's
Again,
one of the most exactly. Express Yourself was always one of my personal favorites because I love the sample. I love the sampling of it. But then let's fast forward a few more years, and you have the 2 Live Crew trial for obscenity for the album Nasty As They Want to Be. Literally threatening to. I mean, well, it's the same way with NWA. They told them if they did if they did the song "Fuck the Police," that at a concert they would be arrested. That's exactly what the fuck they did. They were just like, you know what, fuck you, we're gonna do
it. And a key scene in the docu-film. Oh no, the biopic. Sorry, of the NWA, right?
Yes. It was, yes, that concert scene was in the film. I finally got to see it a while back. I haven't watched it in a long time. It was good for what it was, but I don't know a whole super lot about their history like separately. So, excuse me, I was just kind of taking the movie at face value.
I mean, from what, because Yato knows more about their history, like intricately, because he's a huge fan than I do. He said that the movie is pretty much accurate. It's right on the nose and gives you a really good base understanding of what happened throughout their journey, the rise and fall of the group and everything like that. And they have an interesting story. I think for someone who doesn't understand gangster rap, it's a good movie to watch to understand kind of how this music not only affected each individual in the group, but how their environment affected how they interpreted music, if that makes sense. How they expressed their music was very much so inspired by their lives and their living situations, just like rock and roll. Nobody's doing music to hurt anyone per se. Like when an artist tells you that they feel like they're drowning or they feel like they're going to jump off of a building, when they express those feelings, it is just that. I don't think that artists intentionally are trying to encourage anyone in any one way, shape, or form. Even when you make a love song, you're not trying to make people fall in love with each other. That's not really the goal. You're just expressing the love that you have for someone or something, right? Yeah. I don't know if that's making any sense. I'm high, and I'm gonna get some more
No,
weed.
no, you're good. Mo says Ice Cube actually stated that the arrest didn't occur in the exact same way in the biopic. The officers asked them for autographs and then let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go.
I'll need to look into that. Which, I honestly, I don't. I mean, I'm like Miss Parker. I don't think that art should be censored.
Sometimes it's
Because
meant
it's
to be obscene.
exactly. I mean, look at all of the nudity in paintings from the 15th and 16th centuries,
David
17th
has
century.
his whole penis out.
Right. I mean, he's just standing there, balls out.
That's
He
odd.
has his whole penis out.
That's odd because it's tradition. That's why.
No, as long as I make a little penis in marble, that's art. But as soon as I make a big one out of latex, that's offensive.
if it's comically huge, then no. Like
Then
that's
no,
obscene.
as long
Take
as-
it off.
Yeah. So
Right.
how big
Baby
is, you know what I
carrot.
mean? Yeah, baby
David had-
carrot's not obscene, but average penis obscene. Little teeny non-threatening penis, you can have that all day. That's fine.
Well, I mean, let's give David some credit. I mean, he is standing out in the middle of basically a breezy area, so he's got some shrinkage
Yeah,
going on.
he's got a lot.
He
of
just
shit
got out
inside.
of the pool, man. Yeah, he just got out of the pool, man.
Yeah, he was
cold.
pulling
It
a
was
scared turtle the moment he was being sculpted.
Right.
How much longer do I have to stand here, guys?
Just like if you were wanting a hard on, you're not going to get it, so you're just going to have to work with what you got.
That's all I got. That's all I got today, you guys. That's all I got. But that's really interesting when you talk about art and being obscene. There are naked pictures of Venus. There are statues, boobs out, vaginas. We see this in classical art, and it's like, okay, that's fine. But as soon as Marilyn Manson, decides to do the whole tit thing, people are like, like, well, what did you expect him to do? He's Marilyn Manson. I don't know.
My sister went to see Marilyn Manson twice and saw Gore at a club, and that's some of the most fucked up shit she's ever seen.
It's meant to be that way, right? They're meant to. They want to fuck with your head. Like if you're going to a Marilyn Manson concert, you're going for that experience. I know when I go to see Lady Gaga, I'm there because I want to see her change her costume 40 times. I want to see how many wigs this bitch is gonna put on, how many times there's gonna be fire. If I go to a Gore concert, I'm going to be scared a little bit. That's the whole reason I'm going. Like, I want to see are they going to shock me? Is there something there that's going to shake me to my core? That's kind of like their gimmick, right?
Well, Miss Parker, if you ever do go see Gwar, I have not seen them.
Yeah,
I have never seen them. I would love to, but I've heard that the one thing that you wear to a Gwar concert is a plain white T-shirt, because by the time you walk out, it's going to be 12 different colors. And you have your own personal shirt. You didn't have to stop and have to stop, and it only cost you $6 at Walmart. So
that's cool. See? And that's what I'm saying. It's an experience. So, who are we to say that someone can't have a beautiful experience going to a Gwar concert? There are some people there who are literally having a religious experience, the same religious experience somebody's having at a revival, right? That feeling that just, oh man, I feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself, something that brings me to peace. Who am I to say they can't have that?
Well, speaking of religious experiences, and I know Rav will know what I'm talking about. There was a band from Norway who was performing in, I believe, Sweden, and they were arrested for blasphemy because their stage show was, they basically had sheep's heads and guts all over the stage around barbed wire. They had four naked people hoodwinked and
was it Behemoth?
hanging. No, it was Gorgoroth.
Oh, it was Gorgoroth. Okay, I keep mixed up. Wait, Gorgoroth's that with the front man from that documentary. He's like Satan, right?
Yes. Oh, I've got to get Slim to add that in for me.
It's funny because it's like they ask him a question. It's like I forgot what the question was. I think it was like, "Who was your inspiration?" or something.
He was like, "What is or something similar to like." What do you think is the driving force behind Gorgoroth's music?
Yeah,
and he's just sitting there, he's spinning a fucking wine glass for like 2 minutes, and he just goes, Satan. Takes a fucking sip of wine.
He plays it up. That's amazing.
But yes, they were. They had 4 naked people on crosses, like they were like hanging by ropes, like on their wrists. They looked crucified. They were arrested for blasphemy. The concert footage was seized. I think it was at least another year or 2 before they finally got the footage back and released it. I actually bought a copy of it when it came out, and I'm watched
sure
it.
There's record sales went up once all that happened. My thing is, there are people right now running for positions that are trying to somehow institute blasphemy laws in our country.
Sodomy laws.
Sodomy laws are still on the books. They're just trying to go back to them. That's the scary part about sodomy laws. We've already been there.
Yeah, folks, and we've come back to butt stuff. It always comes back to butt stuff.
And the number one thing here is you have religious extremists. America was born out of a bunch of crazy idiots who left the UK to come to America to practice their shitty religion. Never forget.
Oh, they got kicked out of the UK. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then
we are literally founded by a bunch of religious extremists. And then those religious extremists lost a civil war, and they're pissed about it. Okay.
Ding 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 ding.
Well, I think in the state of Montana, it is still legal to fuck your horse. I mean, I'm just saying.
Wow, it's legal to fuck your horse, but it's not legal to do sodomy if that's a law in the book in Montana.
Yeah, exactly. You can fuck your horse, but you cannot fuck your friend.
When Sinead O'Connor ripped up the picture of the Pope live on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, John Paul, that guy's a fucking cunt, man. Fuck that Pope.
Like that was an intense moment. I mean, because it was done on fucking live TV.
I think I was in middle school. That shit was fucking hilarious. I didn't know who she was, bald-headed lady. And I'm like, oh, hilarious. She ripped up. I didn't know what was going on. It was funny to me.
And then going back and looking into it and see like her career took a nosedive.
Oh, she lost everything.
Yeah.
Damn near everything. Yeah. Nobody wanted to touch her after that. Like she might have been the very first person to ever get canceled. Like instantly.
I think. Well, I was going to say, what about Milli Vanilli because they got caught lip syncing?
Ooh, that is a good canceling. Was that before Sinead O'Connor?
Same decade, but I think
right around the same decade.
Well, no, it was in the 90s, I believe, but I think I want to say they happened a couple of years apart.
That's it, because those are both really big moments of people just literally canceling themselves live.
Oh yeah, Ox, it was on SNL.
Yeah, it was on Saturday Night Live. We'll see. Like, let's.
Wasn't Milli Vanilli on Saturday Night Live too?
I don't know if they ever did Saturday Night Live, but
when the record skipped was on Saturday.
No, they were performing a concert.
They were live performing a concert in Germany when that happened.
Yeah. So then they got busted for that, which
girl,
I'm like,
you know it's girl, you know it's girl, you know.
And the funny thing about it is like that wasn't even those two guys singing. That was like some other group. Like it was a trio that actually recorded the song, and they just like, we need like faces to put to this song. There you go.
Exactly.
So yeah. So they got.
I remember who got canceled on Saturday Night Live. It was Ashley Simpson.
Oh, yes.
Jessica Simpson's sister. And then she did a little jig off the stage. It was great. I love the jig. That was a great jig, though. Best part.
Canceled herself on live TV. Okay, one of the biggest cancelings of all time, once again, Jerry Lee Lewis. Because the second that story hit America, because they were in England when it happened, and then when it hit America, like he was done. Like, I mean, he made a comeback like a long time later, but yeah, he got canceled really fucking quick. It's a good thing that the internet was not around back then, because it would have been milliseconds and he would have been canceled. Oh Lord, it's like Rage Against the Machine was banned from ever playing on SNL ever again. No, it wasn't the Beastie Boys. It was Elvis Costello was banned at one point from performing on SNL because there was oh God, what was the name of the song? Shit. There was one song they didn't want him to perform, and he performed it anyway, and so they banned him from performing ever again. And then the Beastie Boys were on, and all of a sudden they were about to start playing Sabotage, and suddenly Elvis Costello comes out, and they did the song that Elvis Costello got banned for. So I guess they just like, enough time's gone by, we can let him come back, I guess. So sure, why not?
Oh, I mean, hang on. The Beastie Boys got banned because on the East Coast feed of the MTV Music Awards, they said, "There's this fucking thorn in my side. I know it's wrong. Something. It's fucking Sabotage," and that got played over the air, and so they did never get invited back.
Well, I mean, the Beastie Boys had a very illustrious career, so I think getting banned from one place didn't hurt them at all.
Oh no! Bad. Yeah, it was sad when their bass player died. The dude with the goatee.
Oh yeah.
He died of some kind of cancer. Yeah.
Well, it's just like I'm trying to think who else has been canceled over the. Well, I mean, Kanye West is being canceled in a way.
It's actively happening now. Yes.
Yeah, he's getting canceled.
Well, then again, though, he is becoming the messiah of the MAGA movement. So I don't really know what's going to happen. He cannot legally say that he's running for president, but he's running for president. And I believe he's looking for his running mate. Donald Trump has thrown him under the bus. So I think that was the plan at first. After this whole thing with Fuentes, he's too young. He's only 25. So he can't run. And it looks like he's just looking for a running mate. That's what it looks like. Candace Owens can't talk to Kanye West anymore, apparently, because Candace Owens' husband won't let her. Kanye spilled the beans on that.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. The extreme right is loving on him. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that the fact that like such a big meteoric downfall, like this Kanye West, the guy who used this huge musician that used to hang out with the likes of like Jay-Z and Rihanna, is now hanging out and palling around with fucking Nick Fuentes, like a neo-Nazi and a fucking straight convert, but still gay man, Milo Yiannopoulos.
Mm-hmm. It's where we live now. This is the world.
Right. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're slowly heading towards idiocracy. I mean, welcome to Costco. I love you.
Give me another Kirkland brand product.
Oh no!
I want my Kirkland brand Macy's spots. That's what I want.
Oh no! What is it? It's like Brondo. It's got it's got what plants crave.
Gotta get it.
It's like, do you even know what electrolytes are? It's what they use to make Brondo.
No.
Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
I can go for a fucking Carl's Jr. right now. Oh, sorry, Hardee's, where some of you guys are at.
Yeah, it's Hardee's over here.
It's both here, which is hilarious. It says Carl's Jr. and Hardee's, and then it also says the green burrito. It'll be
See
Yeah.
here, okay, confused stoner moment. Why the fuck would you put a burrito restaurant chain or whatever in the hell it is in with a Hardee's? Like that
Why
makes
do people
no
go
sense.
to? Why do people go to what's it called? The Long John Silvers when they're attached to AMWs. Like, think about it. Really think about it. You're an ice cream float shop, and you serve fish.
You serve shrimp, popcorn, shrimp, and shit.
Yeah.
Well, no, well now that one is confusing. But A&W, like the A&W restaurants, actually have like burgers and shit like that. Like there used to be one not too far from where I lived, and
Not the ones here. They just they're attached to Long John Silvers, and then you can get A&W items with it, and it's weird, and I don't like it.
Well, I mean, if you want to eat some of the greasiest fish or shrimp or whatever that you've ever eaten, go to Long John Silver. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had it. It's just soaking in it, you know?
Okay, look, that's because if you're gonna go anywhere kind of like that, you go to Captain D's. Sorry.
It sits under a hate lamp. Their hush puppies are bricks, is what I'm telling you. Yeah. Get
Oh,
a hush
yeah.
puppy from Long John. You could fuck somebody up with that shit.
Roll that up inside of a snowball.
Put it in a sock.
You just like, wow, fuck somebody up with that shit. I swear.
Shot out in the light. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, with one of those hush puppies. Yeah.
Yeah, you can reenact that scene from Full Metal Jacket where they were hitting Vincent D'Onofrio with all the soap in the socks. Yeah. It's the same thing except it's hush puppy.
I was in the army. I was in the army, and there was a dude in our bay in basic training that refused to take a shower. Shit like that.
No.
All I'm saying. Yeah, shit like that.
Oh yeah, no, you get. I would do that to my own kid. Like if I find out you're not taking a shower, you'll be woke up. I'll fuck you up.
Get the garden hose.
Like no,
I'll fuck you up.
No, like mama will show up on the base and like make you take a motherfucking shower.
Like, I will fuck you up. Like we're gonna be embarrassed. Like, we don't know how to wash ourselves anymore. Cool beans. I got you. Watch this. I got a power washer. I will fuck you up. Let's go. Don't fuck with me.
Like the drill sergeants get wind of it, and they have like fucking.
I'm gonna call your mama. That's all I gotta say.
They have fatigues laid out for your mom, and like she comes walking in camo and boots and shit, just yelling at
you. Just Dawn soap attached to a fucking water hose. Let's go. Come in.
Boy, you better get in there and watch your ass.
Wash your ass today.
Exactly.
This is not none of my children. Yeah. I take that personal. If somebody was to tell me, "Oh, your kids smell like nuts," I'd be like, I would take that shit personal. Like, what the fuck? The hell you out here doing? You got me looking bad, homie. People gonna think your mama didn't teach you how to wash yourself. Like, what's happening? No. Take that personal.
Right. Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap it up for the evening. But Miss Parker, thank you for coming back and joining us. You were always welcome here. But we will be doing this again. I'm actually going to be looking for some still shots and everything of some other things that we can talk about. But we will do another one of these very soon. So Miss Parker, what do you have coming up? I know you're covering the border patrol officer trial right now.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that come Monday. Sunday we have Sunday school, and we will be talking about generational trauma.
Okay.
Yeah, and how mammal brains are stupid, which is the scientific term. Like our mammal brain is very dumb and it does very dumb things. And we are all susceptible to generational trauma. And when very bad things happen to an entire generation of people, they inadvertently instill that fear into the generation that they raise that comes after them. Like flood myths is a great example. There's a huge catastrophe that happens, and the people who survive that flood or the deluge, they start telling stories, and those stories eventually become myths. Some would call them religions. But really it just is birthed out of the trauma that all of these people felt. That's why almost every culture has some type of flood myth. and it's interesting. So we're going to look into that, and I'm going to do my best to explain generational trauma without someone saying that I'm being racist. So, yay!
Well, we are
Sunday school. So.
All right. Well, and everyone always looks forward to Sunday school. I usually get caught up with it at night while I'm at work.
Sweet.
But I do tune in indeed. Mr. Rav, what about you? What have you got coming up?
Just still working on music. I just released a single recently on Halloween. It was based off of a picture that Mr. Security Monitor Lizard took, because he actually takes these phenomenal like landscape pictures too on his server.
Drop the link so I can see it. I want that song.
Yeah, it's called On the Eve of Winter. I will drop that link. But I'm also still working on some metal songs too, but it's been kind of difficult trying to get to some of them to actually finish them, because they've just been sitting in limbo for like the past 5 months. You know, work and school has been getting in the way. And then more importantly, I have like a guitar concert that is coming up for the school that I go to. So we're going to do, let's see, what are the songs that we're doing? We're doing some jazz songs. So like Fly Me to the Moon, we mentioned earlier. Autumn, we're doing Autumn Leaves, and then we're doing a lot of like rock classics. 2 songs by the Eagles, Already Gone and Witchy Woman.
Dude,
sweet.
Look, don't you know that the dude hates the fucking Eagles?
Dude, the dude?
Yeah, the dude hates the fucking Eagles, man. We're all about some
Creedence
Clearwater up in here.
Come on, Already Gone.
Man, we're gonna have some fun.
And then it was that, and then we're doing Down Under, Rolling Like a Stone, and what was the other song? We're because it's December, we have some Christmas tunes in there. We got Wish You a Merry Little Christmas is fine, but we have this super cheesy song, but it's supposed to be for laughs, called Text Me Merry Christmas.
Nice.
And we have a female vocalist and a male vocalist who are there's like a dialogue section when like the bass, when it's just the bass line, and it's like,
and they get to go back and forth.
Yeah, it's like, I miss you too. It's so boring without you, like that. And it's gonna be the audience is probably gonna get a chuckle out of it. Hopefully I don't cringe, but
I would get up and walk the fuck
and
out.
I got a guitar solo for Autumn Leaves too, so I gotta practice for that.
There you go.
Very nice.
Rex, want to thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Do you have anything coming up or anything?
Well, I just want to thank you for having me in. I appreciate it. And I stream at random times. It was glad to see you, Miss Parker. It's nice to meet you, Rav. And I got a few songs for you. We got to the 70s, but we didn't get through the 70s.
Well, we will put this 4-part panel back together again here in a couple of weeks, and we will do this again, and we'll do some more discussion.
Well, fair enough, but you said CCR, and Bad Moon Rising was the first thing that came to my head.
Well, that one, and heard it through the grapevine.
That's another fun one.
And then the Ozzy song "Bark at the Moon" came to my head. We didn't even talk about Randy Rhoads, who died tragically. But
I know, died too young, man.
Yeah, that's a whole different story for a whole nother time. So
right, indeed. Well, all right, everyone. I will be announcing everything for the next upcoming episode in the Discord and on Twitter and everything else like that. I want to thank everyone for coming and hanging out in the chat with us tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed the show. So please go and check out all the links in the description for all of the Brotherhood around here. We love them dearly. Hope everyone has a great night. But until then, my friends, as always, peace be with you.
Take care, everybody.
I should answer, where do you come from?
From the east, and I am hoping that you will give my message on the square for the sake of the widow's son.
Well done, gentlemen. Congratulations. As chairman of the Order of Skulls and on behalf of the council and the 322 alumni throughout the world, gentlemen, you are welcome. Welcome home.
Well, I tell you, let me give you a little inside information about God. God likes to watch. He's a prankster. Think about it. He gives man instincts. He gives you this extraordinary gift, and then what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time.
I think churches has very little to do with spirituality. I think it's something you have to find in yourself.